Csinál egy éles hátra arcot, s ha bátorsága száll Linába, kivándorol Ausztráliába, paraszti módra köpve jót, trafikot kezd s konfekciót, csak egy a fontos ebbe kérem, hogy mást tegyen, mit amit régen, trallala.
For the past 60 years, Judy Cassab has been painting the portraits of Australia's most interesting and influential citizens. She was the first woman to win the Archibald Prize twice, and her work hangs in galleries across the country. It's an extraordinary achievement for a woman who, at 93, may have lost some of her memories, but none of her friends and admirers. Sharon O'Neill reports on the celebration of the life of Judy Cassab.
Hello? Who's this young girl here? And look what I brought. This was our undoing.
On a sunny spring morning, artist Judy Cassab is receiving a visit from an old friend.
I see the portrait hanging in the space.
17 years ago, Justice Michael Kirby sat in this same room to have his portrait painted by the artist.
You know, I think you've made my eyes look like Robert Mitchum, the Hollywood star. Looks rather sexy, actually, I think. I've got my eyes half closed as if I'm on some prohibited substance. But I wasn't.
Michael Kirby is part of a committee of family and friends that has planned a celebration of the life of Judy Cassab.
Well, it's the 60th anniversary of Judy's first exhibition in Australia, and we just thought it would be wonderful to celebrate the life of this remarkable artist and mother.
Judy Cassab was born in Vienna in 1920 to Hungarian parents. As a young Jewish woman, she survived the horror of the Second World War by assuming the identity of her German maid. Most of her family, however, were not so lucky.
Both of us lost everyone. My husband lost his mother and brother, and I lost my family.
In 1951, Judy Cassab migrated to Australia with her husband and 2 young sons. At age 31, she was already an accomplished artist, but life in post-war Sydney was a long way from Europe.
Painting wasn't considered an occupation or a profession. It was considered a hobby. And so this most wonderful thing that I had all my life was suddenly diminished into a hobby.
Undeterred, Judy Cassab pursued her hobby and quickly developed a reputation for her portraits.
Judy came from Europe with a much more sort of avant-garde attitude, and was not about just depiction but about interpretation. And so she brought a new sort of interpretive dimension to portrait painting.
In 1955, she won the prestigious Woman's Weekly Portrait Prize.
Judy Cassab of New South Wales wins £500 for this portrait of mannequin Judy Barraclough. 2 Judys combined to produce real Australian art.
In 1961, Judy Cassab won her first Archibald, a prize she won again in 1968.
I like being with painters, and it helps to make a good friend in a short time, because the sittings are the equivalent of years of friendship.
Over the decades, Judy Cassab has painted many portraits and made many friends. The former director of the Art Gallery of New South Wales, Edmund Capon, sat for his portrait in 1987.
Judy talked and painted at the same time, and that was really quite unusual. she would talk almost non-stop, I found, which I found very surprising. But it was as though she was engaging, me in conversation, and she was actually drawing, the little bits of information and the little bits of texture and feeling and putting them straight on the canvas.
Did you like the finished product?
Oh yeah, they were very kind.
This month, in galleries and public spaces across the country, works of art by Judy Cassab have been hung as part of the celebration of her remarkable career.
I think arguably you'd have to say that Judy Cassab is one of the most significant portrait painters, Australian portrait painters of the latter half of the 20th century. This wasn't a formal commission so much as a...
The National Portrait Gallery in Canberra is also featuring Judy Cassab's work.
My two favourites of the works in the Portrait Gallery's collection, firstly we've got a fantastic painting of Sir Frank Packer, which Judy made in 1956. My other favourite is a painting painted around 1973 of Nancy Bird Walton.
Judy Cassab is now 93 and has what her family describes as an interesting form of dementia. Every day her son John reads to her from her diaries.
1944 April. The Germans are in Hungary. The Jews have to wear the yellow Star of David. I only wish we would survive, together with our families. I would like to stay alive, that's all.
What sort of recollection does Judy have now of life, of her past life?
Well, she doesn't remember a great deal until we find it in the diary, and then she remembers it in great detail. Reading from Judy's diaries, I could say that, in my opinion, you've never been happier than you are at the moment, Judy, that whatever used to be your problem has been forgotten. And it's a kind of a blessing.
So she's happy and content in her life
What
today?
do you think, Judy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too.
It is a deeply felt honour to be joining you all this afternoon at the Eva Breuer Gallery to honour a great artist whose superb work, including many portraits, have contributed and will continue to contribute to an enriching period of Australia's history.
Last weekend, many of Judy Cassab's friends came to the Eva Breuer Gallery in Wallara to pay tribute to an extraordinary woman.
A portrait should truly reveal something to the person who is sitting for the portrait when they see it, because it's an intelligent observation. It's not a critical observation. It is simply an observation. And the nature of that observation, of course, reflects back on the artist who paints it. It is like beauty in the eye of the beholder. And when you see Judy's paintings, you see the eye of the beholder. She is a beautiful, noble, intelligent human being.
And she tells me, with seeming belief at the end, that the last strokes are added by God. What a joy it is to know Judy Cassab as a friend. What a privilege it is to be the subject of such an artist.
Sharon O'Neill.
Trafikot kezdj konfekciót, csak egy a fontos, ebbe kérem, hogy mást tegyen, mit amit régen